Here I am with my full dad bod eating buffalo chicken dip with the girl I have a crush on. Oops.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, Margie. I'm so happy
Hi.
to see you. Hi, I'm
Hello.
Ramona Ramirez Higgins. Hi,
I
friend. So
already
glad you're
said it,
back.
but I'll say it publicly. Thank you for holding it down last week. I got to tend to some amazing restorative time with family and friends, and I'm so grateful for the time off and really appreciative that I had an episode to listen to on my, oh my God, I didn't tell you, there was a TSA walkout at the New Orleans airport when I was trying to return home. So I got there 5 hours early and would have missed my flight if it hadn't been delayed. The TSA line was out of the airport, up 2 floors of the parking lot, and there's nothing to do. You just go like, well, I live in this line now. This is my home. So I got to listen to the episode and watch a lot of TV. I got caught up on all my Bravo shows. It was wild. But I'm so grateful for phones. I could be entertained while I sat on my suitcase in a parking
Oh,
lot.
Margie. Well, I'm so glad to have you back. I'm so glad that
too.
you were able to take time off. I'm thrilled about that. I can't imagine I'm watching The Gilded Age right now. Josh and I are watching it for the first time. And I look at him and I'm all, they just get in a fucking horse-drawn carriage and they don't have a map and they can't tell anyone if they're going to be late. And they have to write to someone if they're like, you have been hired for this job. You have not been hired for this job. It's letters. It's not that long ago that I, too, did not have a map or a camera or an internet or a way to entertain myself at an airport for 5 hours.
Yeah. But there also wasn't TSA back then. You know,
That's
I'm
true.
I'm old enough to remember the days where you could walk to the gate with your family members to say goodbye.
I know, dude.
It was
God.
very different. But
Here we are.
here we
Here
are,
we
from the
are.
Gilded Age to the summer house.
Yes. Just before we launch in earnest, I've said this a million times, Josh and I are I'm watching Summer House with him from the beginning so that he can catch up. And we're currently in the kind of beginning of season 4, where it's the COVID year. It's the COVID house where they all move in for 6 weeks together. And this is where Luke brings Ciara into the mix. And I always forgot, like, that's her origin story, is Luke brought her. And he
Yeah.
treated her like shit, too.
100%.
What a dick.
Exactly what she says. People want to
Exactly.
experience me and they don't take me seriously. He was the first that we saw on TV. I'm sure it's gone on for her whole lifetime. But yeah.
He was such a profound disappointment.
Who, Luke?
Yeah, just the way he treated Hannah and Ciara. Ew, got out that acoustic guitar.
I
Ugh.
know. Just marched around in his bare feet, strumming stupid songs. I love it. I mean, he, again, just like a great reality TV character.
You're right. That's
No
exactly
notes
what he
on
is.
that front.
You're right. Perfect way to describe him.
And he was in the audience of Watch What Happens Live not too long ago. Same exact guy. Super boring, nothing to say, cute enough. I don't know. He's just such a type to me. Like he's a reality, like a 3 to 4 season reality show personality. And beyond that, he's figuring out a different life path, and that's great, but fascinating.
Fascinating. And so glad he's no longer with us.
On screen. He's with us.
On screen. Yes,
on
that's what I'm
planet
saying.
Earth.
On a Bravo show. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right. Not to get crazy. So, had you heard the rumors about Amanda and West
I
floating
did,
around?
and I started getting swept up in it. And then I was like, you, it's not your business. It's not your problem. Let it go. I started getting insane and like really being mad on Ciara's behalf about what, Margie? Nobody knows if it happened. And if it did, what a mess and what a shame. I really went crazy for like probably, 2 to 3 hours going like, but Dumois confirmed it and she's friends with Amanda. Like, I'm crazy. Who cares?
she has a really terrible track record of being accurate on things. Dumois does.
Trust me, I read all of that, but then I read that she's friends with Amanda and she would never report it. That. Anyways, who cares?
Yeah.
I hope they didn't. The rumors were that West and Amanda hooked up, which would be catastrophic for Amanda and Ciara's friendship. And I truly hope it didn't happen. But if it did, that must be in a plan for everyone's greater good.
Yeah. I don't believe it. But I am, how do I explain this? I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about Love is Blind. And I am coming to grips. Like, I've been shaken straight. I've been scared straight, rather. Shaken by the collar and scared straight about my agreement as I watch reality shows. I don't want to exhaust myself questioning everything or doubting everything, but production and rumors get views. Editing gets views, production gets views.
That's the thing. It's like all of it can be true. Either
Yeah.
they did hook up, okay, or these rumors are spreading to drum up interest in The City, their new show,
Exactly.
okay. But at the end of the day, like, we'll hear about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
for
too many
sure.
shows surrounding these people to not hear about it. So
Kyle did not believe it. He was on Watch What Happens Live last night after we are recording on Wednesday, the 11th. And so that means the episode I'll put this out tomorrow, the 12th of March. Yeah, he was on and said, no, it's not true.
it's like I could see it happening and I could see it not. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I don't have to be in that situation right
Yeah,
now.
same.
What
Absolutely.
a mess. What a mess.
Totally. So, and I don't know why I feel compelled to do this really quickly, but tomorrow is the 15th anniversary of my husband's and my first date. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. And
Aww.
if he listens to this episode, say happy anniversary of our first date, Josh. And yeah, I'm like, wait, March. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the anniversary of our first date. We went to a Camille Rose Garcia gallery opening and then went to Comme Ça on Melrose for dinner.
Ooh, that's a great first date.
It was a great first date, right?
Well played. Who planned that?
I did because I live here.
Right.
Yeah.
But he drove up from San Diego.
But he drove
so
up.
He
He
did
drove
the
up from San Diego.
3-hour
Yeah,
drive and
exactly.
you planned a perfect date and how delightful.
It was lovely. I think we went as soon as he got to LA. I think we went to Intelligentsia and Sunset. I think he bought himself a watch at Dean. Like it was a real Sunset Boulevard, Silver Lake afternoon.
I love that.
I do too.
And I remember how excited you were after. I remember.
Yeah, that was it, dude. That was it. And then we got engaged 3 months minus 1 day to the date of our first date.
Oh,
So yeah, here we
so
are.
romantic.
Yep, very, very. Anyway, happy anniversary, hun, for our first date. So we are here to discuss Summer House Season 10, Episode 5. The episode's called The Joke's on You. The Joke's on You.
Dude, joking is a dangerous sport. Jesse's terrible at it. Ben has no sense of humor and created a whole hell mouth out of nothing, in my opinion. We'll get there, I guess. But like, whoa.
I don't care for Bailey saying she's joking, though, when she's not. I guess we'll get there. I had a lot of feelings this episode. I had a lot of opinions.
Okay, let's
a lot of
dig
opinions. Yes. So we resume with the Ciara and Jesse conversation. Thankfully, last week had the majority of the uncomfortable parts. They basically worked everything out, and he just is telling her he's grateful that they were able to talk, even though it was hard. She agrees. He says I guess this is hashtag growth, question mark. He says there's so many jokes I could make right now, which I'm assuming would be like, let's kiss and make up, even though kissing was the whole reason why they got.
I don't know
this.
what the hell that meant, but I was like, Jesse, dude. But I believed him in his confessionals. He seemed sufficiently embarrassed of his behavior. And he seemed to understand, his words didn't express it quite right, but he did seem to understand, like, I know Ciara wants something serious, and I understand how what I did and said caused her pain. And I regret that. And that looked real.
He
So
looked
I'm
humbled, legitimately.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a Jesse fan, but I think he got it, that he took this to a place it did not belong, and he acted in like a really impulsive, gross way, talking to the bros about You don't mind if I, ugh, God, he's so
I know.
gross.
It's so repugnant.
But this is how you learn. So
This
hopefully
is
now but I had this vague recollection of him. Didn't he have the same contrition last summer after he sucked a toe and didn't tell Lexi about it until she confronted him? Didn't he have a similar
probably.
vibe of like, that was a mistake?
Yeah, I don't
It's like,
know.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know how
dude.
hard he took it. I'm not sure if
But
he.
you're right. And I don't think he cared about Lexi the way he cares about
Mm-mm,
Ciara. I think
mm-mm,
this one
mm-mm.
actually affects him. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So they tell each other they love each other. They give each other a side hug, and they're able to move on. And as soon as he's done, this cracked me up so much. He leaves Ciara's room, goes straight to the room he shares with West. West is literally and figuratively and emotionally pacing, like he's waiting for someone to come in with the biggest news. Jesse walks in. West is dying for the details. Jesse exhales and pulls his shirt over his head. I, I don't I don't fault anybody for being relieved once a difficult or confrontational conversation is finished. Completely validate that. The relief he has seemed indicative to me of how much terror he felt at her feelings about him. My point is that men can't fucking hang with a woman who is anything but happy, copacetic, kumbaya, whatever you want to say. Not a lot. Not at that age.
I mean, he did a good job of like, that is a hard conversation. When you disappoint someone you care, when I disappoint someone I care about, it is really hard to sit in the discomfort of their experience of you, their experience of me being a disappointment. I thought Jesse handled himself well in the conversation with Ciara until the joke at the end. And I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but in the room that Jesse and West shared, Jesse's bed was a mess and West was like pristinely made. Like, I wonder if while he was waiting for the conversation to end, he was like, and I'll put all the throw pillows here and I'll place the football in the center of the throw pillows. And now my bed is made.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. And it's a complicated situation. It is a love triangle. Like, it's hard to be the friend of the guy who's hitting on your ex. That's a hard, tough spot.
When Jesse tells Wes the conversation went fine, we literally saw Wes's shoulders drop and all of the tension leave his body, and he wasn't even involved in the conversation. Jesse tells him, I just feel bad that she's upset. God. I don't
What?
know.
That's it. That's a fair
I
thing to say.
I know
hate
it
when I
is.
upset people
I know, and so do I. Believe me.
because I think he understands what he did, right? Or no?
I hope he did. Like, I didn't feel satisfied that he took as much responsibility,
No,
but
but he's
maybe
Jesse
he's
Solomon.
just,
I think
that's what I was just going to
Sierra's
say.
working within his limitations.
You're right. She's
She's like,
accepting of
his
who he is.
is another human being's like, yes, I crossed a line and said something flippant and inappropriate and unfair to you, and I devalued you, and he's Jesse Solomon, so the best he can say is duh. God bless.
In his confessional, he says that, yes, he's attracted to her. She's beautiful inside and out. And now he really knows she does not want to be casual. And he feels bad that he misread the situation. And he's upset and disappointed in himself. Yeah, that was dumb. So I guess this is the best we're going to get. And it's got to be fine. I've got to accept it, or I'm the one with the problem.
Yeah, my only issue with that was him saying, I feel bad that I misread the situation. It's like, you didn't, because in your conversation with Ciara, you said, I know you want something serious and I don't know what I'm looking for. So you read the situation just right. You just were selfish, and which is normal. People have moments where they're selfish and do stupid shit. But this was a little bit just the lightest revisionist history in this confessional. I was like, Jesse, but at least he ended it with like, what really appeared to be a moment of painful self-reflection when he was like, yeah, that was dumb. Like you could feel him feeling the ugh of the whole thing coming over him in that. So
I'm glad. I'm glad. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If he needs to spend a little bit of time having some healthy shame, I think that it can only be a positive thing for him.
mhm.
So it is Amanda's 34th birthday. She and her castmates start getting ready for her birthday dinner. Chefs have been brought in to cook a formal meal for them at home. It's black tie-ish.
So Mia is in Bailey and Levi's room with they're getting ready for this dinner. And I do love KJ, who pops in to borrow a steamer. And they show him in a camera footage from the hallway and he's holding it and he like looks kind of confused, but like resigned to this task. Everything this kid does is so darling to me. Like he can do no wrong. I'm waiting for KJ to fuck it up and he can't. And I love him for it. And we do get the news that everyone has figured out that KJ and Dara are dating. Bailey is, like so many of us, did some Instagram stalking to get her to that conclusion where she saw an image of both of them at the same concert in the same row. And she's like, that doesn't happen by accident. Because KJ hasn't been blabbing about it, which I also appreciate and love about KJ. He's keeping his private life private for the time being until he's asked.
Ish, but yeah, but like when he's asked and he says Dara isn't there, and he tells his car full of bros on the way up for this weekend, yeah, I left this morning, and then at the end of we'll get there at the end, but then sharing with Amanda that he and Dara slept together, I don't know if that's going to be okay with her.
I don't think he would do that if he didn't know it was.
Okay.
Because
right.
I think she comes to join this cast at some point. You know what I mean?
So, yeah.
So I don't think he would be disrespectful. I don't know. See, look at me protecting KJ because I'm like, he was so cute with that steamer. How could he ever betray a woman's trust? He's incapable. He's a lover boy.
I found myself like, I don't want to say that I'm upset with KJ, but this isn't sitting well with me. So I was also kind of like trying to get around it.
Yeah.
We don't know this
but it's
young
also,
man.
I know, but this is where I'm just so, and this is just maybe a phase I'm in where I'm just like, I do not see the point of lying ever. It's going to come out. That's West's ex. She's going to be back at the summer house. Like, I don't know. It's weirder almost if KJ was like, I don't know. We're getting along. Like, that's almost weirder to me. But I'm old now, so maybe it makes more sense to be more cagey about that stuff when you're younger. But it's like, you did. So what? Who cares? It's great. They're darling. You know, we later see them checking in on the phone all weekend. He's not like, yeah, I banged it out with some broad last night. He likes Dara.
For sure.
And they seem to like each other. Yeah.
If she has consented to sharing where they're at and what they're doing, I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. But it's just because I don't know yet. And I feel like, would I want my business out there? My intimate business.
But
I don't know.
Why is it shameful to sleep with someone who you like?
I don't think that it is. But I also know that that is up to me to be able to tell people, you know, especially in a mutual group of friends.
But it's his story too.
It is his story too. These are all very, it's just, they know her. And I don't know. Maybe it's NBD, dude. Maybe it's full on NBD.
I mean, I'm with you. I hope they talked about it and he cleared this with her. Because I'm sure it was hard to hide, like as he's leaving her house in the morning to go get in the car with the bros to go to the Hamptons for the weekend. I'm sure he was like, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, I just listen to me, just like caping for KJ.
I am too.
I got to stop.
Levi adds it all up and tells Bailey, you're excited about Ben because she knows that if Dara is out of the equation because of KJ, as Bailey replies, the moral of the story is Ben is still single. So, oof, it's still not going to go her way, though, is it?
What a revealing episode about Ben. Good Lord.
In her confessional, Bailey says that she was sure Ben and Dara were going to hook up because it looked that way to her during the Ren Fair party weekend, which I thought the same, and that's production and editing for you. And she says, this is her moment, it's her chance. And I'm all, it's not, unfortunately, but I get it.
Then everybody's getting dressed, and I thought everyone looked great. I thought this was really thoughtful for Amanda to really like turn out for her. Kyle looked great. Amanda looked gorgeous. Everyone was in a bow tie, and I did love Wes trying to tie Jesse's bow tie from behind, and he was so wasted that he was like, well, nope, too drunk. Like it appeared to make him almost like throw up, like the focus and the knot. But then he went to go ask Ben if Ben could do it on another body. He's like, I can only do it on my own body. But everyone was trying to get everybody dressed up and looking great for Amanda's birthday, which I thought was so very sweet.
So cute. I can't believe Amanda's 34. She's been on this show for 10 years. She was a baby when she first started. My God. I couldn't figure out the food, elevated comfort, elevated school lunch, the silicone meal trays, the white butcher paper with crayons. I really hate potential. A large dining room table, but that's what it couldn't be me. I wouldn't have But I'm also watching The Gilded Age right now, and the tablescapes are so inspiring and gorgeous. And the white butcher paper and crayons really
That must
killed
have
my
had
boner.
some meaning for Amanda, right?
Okay, I don't know.
Maybe not. If not, then I don't know. But I hope it was thoughtful for her. I hope they chose food and activities that she liked, but maybe.
Oh, no, I have a feeling she had a hand in it, but I don't understand. I would have gone to the extreme. If we were all in like quasi black tie, I would have been like, all right, let's get some, I don't know. I don't know. I loved the crystals tablescape they had in Sedona, or before they were going to Sedona, when they were talking about going to Sedona on Beverly Hills, that the crystals and the candles just like blew my mind. I thought it was stunning. Who cares? We're not here to talk about that.
I did like hearing Amanda say that, like, this is what I wanted for my birthday. Next week, we'll blow it out for Kyle's with a huge party, but this is what I wanted. And I
For
was
sure.
happy to hear that for her because she's had so many weekends in that house where nothing has gone how she's wanted. And it felt like this night, at least, was precious and
I agree.
happy for her.
Right as I was noticing Carl's absence, that's when Bailey said, does anybody else miss Carl? And that was what made me think like, oh, production is either sticking their spoon in this pot to be stirred vigorously by bringing up Carl while Kyle's there and Carl's not, but we'll never know for sure because obviously they're going to have to talk about, we'll get there, but.
Well, and Carl serves a good purpose of he's good at like moderating events like this, like he's good at getting everybody seated and he's, kind of like a dad and a dork.
Totally.
And that's a really helpful personality to have at the head of a table.
It is because Kyle's not good at it, I don't think.
No, because he makes everything about him on every level. It's crazy.
He's such a self-appointed patriarch, and it's so gross to me. And so he business mansplains to like the entire table why Carl isn't there and how much he would love to be there, but he's on a tight timeline because of soft bar opening.
And he kind of shit talks him by saying like, and the space is really raw, and he doesn't have time. Like, I'm like, don't shit on him. Like, just
do not
let him live. Like, let him cook, Kyle.
Honestly. So he asks, he looks at Ben and says, you just went to the space. And that's where he asks him if it still looks raw. And Ben says yes. And he tells the group about his visit to Stoff Bar.
But he did say, I loved Ben for saying like, but the bar is in and the space looks great. Ben was like doing what you would expect a friend to do. They say have friends who speak kindly of you when you're not in the room. And Kyle is not that friend to Carl. Ben weirdly is, because Ben was like being really supportive and encouraging. Space is great. He's got the bar in. He's ready to go. And Kyle's like, good luck, buddy. Wow. Yeah, he can't be here because it's a mess. I was like, Jesus. Glass half empty, glass half full.
So he shares that he was asking Carl about investors, like who's helping. And he asks Jesse in front of the whole table, you got involved, didn't you? And Jesse says, yes, I did invest. And Kyle shares that he was asked to join the advisory board and admits Carl asked him to invest. And he said, point blank, I cut a $500,000 check into Loverboy to literally meet payroll. I said, this is not personal, but I'm literally on the hook financially for my own business. And instead of going like, oh, we understand, Kyle, Jesse's all, but he invested in Loverboy, right?
I weirdly liked Jesse in this episode because he was like, nah, dude, like, but when you had nothing and you were no one, this guy coughed up 15 grand.
And he was even less of a no one with even less of a financial situation. And Kyle can't even bring himself to say yes, that Carl did invest. He just says, he put 15 grand in. Yeah. And they pan to West for some reason, and his eyes are just down.
And everyone's shrugging it off like, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Even if you're rich, that's a lot of money. That was a generous vote of confidence for something that at that time was utterly unproven. There was no guarantee Summer House was going to stay on the air. Like, Carl did his friend like a really big solid. And I like Jesse's take on it later, saying it's not about the financials. It's about the friendship.
Exactly. And Amanda asks, you didn't invest in Soft Bar at all? And there's just like awkward silence all around. So Amanda didn't even know. Oh, shit. So Kyle says, no, I mean, I shared his, this made me so uncomfortable. I shared his crowdfunding campaign.
Asshole.
Ew. Oh my God.
Bad call, Kyle.
He is one of your best friends. He married the two of you. He officiated your fucking wedding. And he was the vice president of Loverboy until the last few years. This is a significant relation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he's all flippant saying like, well, if Carl wants me to cut him a check for 15 grand, I will. And it's like, hey, wow, that's really flippant when you wouldn't because you claimed you had no money. And yet you're about to march out a $10,000 watch. You've bought God knows how many tens of $1,000s worth of DJ equipment. I don't even think it would be about the money. If Kyle gave him $2,000, I think Carl would just appreciate the vote of confidence. When you take a big swing, having investors who believe in you is a huge deal. Huge deal. And Kyle knows
Massive.
that better than anyone. So for him to not do it is like an even bigger dig, in my opinion. Yucky. This was not a cute look on Kyle.
Oh,
Ugh.
no. He looked terrible.
Stingy, selfish, competitive.
He was
Scared.
on Watch What Happens Live last night with Danny Pellegrino. Highly recommend watching it if you haven't. Danny goes hard on Kyle, and he also doesn't let the fact that Andy is sitting right there dampen his questions or his opinions. And I love
Good.
Danny for that. I love it. Jesse tells Kyle, I think Carl was upset that you initially were going to invest and then you pulled out.
Even grosser that Kyle was like, yeah, buddy, I'll throw you some money. Actually, nah, I won't. It's so insulting. I don't know how Carl is even friends with this guy. It almost seems intentionally cruel, like almost like he's rooting for Carl to fail so that he can go like, I told you it's really hard to launch a business. Sorry about it.
I wonder, that would make a lot of sense that maybe he's a little jealous because he's doing it and Kyle knows how hard it can be.
I think Kyle would be more comfortable if Carl failed. And I think that is a gross assessment, but it might be true.
I agree. In his confessional, Kyle says he feels blindsided. I could not have been more clear. In December, which I'm assuming is 2024, I wasn't in the position to invest. Financially, we were in the worst place we've ever been with Loverboy. I'm doing my best not to have to lay people off. Instead of literally firing my whole entire team, I put $500,000 up to cover payroll.
What Kyle's missing is that I don't think Carl doesn't understand what's going on. I think he gets that Loverboy's in financial distress and you're trying to save your staff, and that is noble. But what Kyle can't grab onto is like, and also alongside of that are the feelings of betrayal, abandonment, disappointment. Like your friend is allowed to both understand where you're coming from and be bummed out that this is who you are. That's a letdown. That's not who Carl envisioned you to be. And now he has to come to terms with a friend who is unwilling to offer a vote of confidence at like a pretty fragile crossroads in a guy's life. So
it's going to come to something this season. We see them, and we've seen them in previews already. We know that
fighting,
some sort of
physically
fighting is coming up. Yeah. On the Watch What Happens Live episode, Kyle did say he had to lay off people and that Loverboy is actively seeking a financial partner or acquisition. And I thought that they were approached a few years ago to be acquired, but he turned it down. I looked online to try to find out if that was true or not, but I couldn't find anything without having an account to like go into one of the financial websites, and I'm not going to do that.
But that sounds familiar, what you're saying. Yeah, I think you might be right.
I went on the Soft Bar website. Everything looks delicious. The food offerings, the drink offerings. I'm happy for him. I almost thought about buying a fucking hat, but I didn't.
Well, and I feel like it's just a really interesting look at the difference between like Carl is taking, with his recovery in mind, he's taking kind of a spiritual approach to his business, where Kyle is taking the, I must succeed. I'm going to grind this out till I get it. And look what he's done. He's strangled his own fucking business. And I feel like Carl is laying the foundation. He has a really clear vision for what he wants. He's at peace if it doesn't come through. But my guess is Soft Bar will be a slow, gradual build to a steady, consistent business. My guess is Soft Bar will operate like most restaurants in New York, and you will have 2 to 3 years of operating at a loss. Year 3, you break even. Year 4, and thereafterward, you turn a profit. And I think Carl is like in a place where he's planned for that. So he doesn't need the success and the adoration and the I'm the CEO of like Kyle does. You know, Kyle's too much of Kyle's esteem is coming from Loverboy to the point where like he can't even see how he's affecting someone else by not offering $1,000 to support a friend's opening of a business in sobriety. Carl saved his own life by getting fucking sober. And Kyle's just like, shrug. Try not to lose my staff. So I'm going to drop $500,000, which, by the way, what business investor is talking to Kyle and saying, like, you know what's a great idea? Take $500,000 out of your business's account and put it toward, like, that's a crazy. Who is advising this man? Or I don't know business all that well, but like that seems nuts.
I don't know.
If you don't have a financial projection that looks promising, that seems like a crazy way to spend $500,000.
Yeah. They have an angel investor that is blank, that's like grayed out. I couldn't see who they were. I could see the other investors on this one website, but I couldn't see one angel investor, which means they probably just wanted to remain anonymous and donate a bunch of cash. I wonder if it was Amanda's parents. I don't know.
What a mess.
You're so right. He is gripping on with that control for dear life. And I've been there. I know you've been there when you're just like muscling through it and you're absolutely going upstream without a paddle. And yet there's Carl surrendering and just one foot in front of the other. And he seems like he's got a lot on his plate, but he seems serene.
Yeah. And I think he's in that place that like I really admire of understanding that no one knows anything. Lindsay doesn't know if a brick and mortar will fail, and Carl doesn't know if a brick and mortar will succeed. So at some point, you just got to do something that you give a shit about. And Carl has identified this as something I give a shit about. So I'll do this and I'll either learn from it or it will be the thing, you know? And that is a really mature place to come from approaching any life circumstance. Opening a business, starting a relationship, nothing is guaranteed. Nobody predicted COVID. Nobody predicts
My God.
anything. Like
No.
lots of stuff. Nobody predicted Zoom would take off, but then COVID
Jesus.
happened and here, like nobody knows anything. So all you can do is act in a way that feels aligned with like who you are and how you want to contribute to the world before your time is up, right? Or is that
100%.
too existential?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's absolutely, absolutely true. So Jesse suggests that everyone goes around the table saying one nice thing about Amanda, and they start sharing compliments. He starts and says Amanda's the funniest person that he knows. And then it's West's turn. And I have to say that West's sentiment impressed me. He said that she's accomplished so much and that after seeing her struggle with what I'm assuming he's referring to as her mental health, it's good to see her out of her shell and happy. And I am cautiously optimistic that West is showing growth
I think West is
and
showing
vulnerability.
growth. Yeah. Throughout this episode, as drunk as he was throughout the whole episode,
Oh my God.
he manages to articulate some really meaningful shit, which again tells me like, again, there's a difference between a drinker and an alcoholic, and West is a drinker.
Dude, you're right.
He's
So true.
drunk, but he's himself and he's kind, you know, he's not nuts. Oh my God. And then we get to Ben. Okay. So I feel like we are going to diverge here in weird ways, but Ben is just like the ultimate bachelor. Do you know what I mean? He was the bachelor in Australia or whatever. And this is such a gross bachelor scripted thing that he says. He's like, I'm a big eyes and smile guy. And I admittedly, before this blew up into anything, I rolled my eyes. I was like, yeah, God, Ben, can we not just whatever? But Bailey then interrupts and says, I was going to say, Ben's going to talk about how he wants to sleep with you, Amanda. Definitely knew he was going to go there. And it was out of line and inappropriate. But who among us hasn't been the person who aims for a joke and misses the target by a mile? And by who among us, I mean me. It happens all the time. Then it became Ben's reaction to it was, to me, it was if it's hysterical, it's historical. I don't know what's going on with Ben, but he's like, I don't know what's going on with Bailey. What's behind this? I don't think anything was behind it. I'm with her. You guys met skinny dipping. You held a towel out for her. You pick her up and twirl her around. You flirt with her. She made a joke. It didn't land. Why did it become a conflict? Why did he storm up to her room? Why did he make a backhanded comment about how messy her room is? I'm stepping over your clothes so I can get up and get out of here. Whose dad are you right now, you weirdo? It was so out of line for like, I don't know. I thought she's a kid and she made a gross joke and it didn't land. My whole entire 20s was that. And she was willing to learn from it. She apologized. She understood where she went wrong. It's not my joke to make, she said. She gets it. Leave her the fuck alone, dude. Anyways.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I felt like everyone was uncomfortable with her joke.
It was uncomfortable. It was a bad joke.
It was a really bad joke. And
But it also was not unfounded. The way Ben and Amanda engage and they make jokes after the fact, like, ooh, let's go in the pool, but we have to keep our clothes on. Don't say that around Bailey. Like, where do you think she got this shit, you guys? Like,
I think everyone made that face because they were like someone saying the quiet part out loud. And no one wanted to say the quiet part out loud. And she's saying it in front of Kyle. Like, they're married for all intents and purposes. They are still legally wed. To me, it was, I would have shit my pants too. I think I would have shit my pants.
But how? Amanda was in a sheer top in the pool at a party in the daytime. There were people around. Like, Ben is the one who wrapped her in a towel and they met skinny dipping. Like, why would Bailey think this was inappropriate? If I'm Bailey, I think Kyle's cool with it because the whole story was Ben and Amanda were naked in the pool and Kyle was marching around with his speakers, DJing, whatever. So if I'm Bailey, I take that to mean he's cool with his wife being naked in the pool. That's fine. I'll joke about it too.
Right. But being naked and saying he's going to say he wants to sleep with you.
Right. That I'm not saying it's a good joke. And she said, I crossed the line. I feel for Bailey for the amount of in the moment, I thought everyone's reaction was appropriate and I thought it was sufficient. You could see Bailey was embarrassed. She leaned back in her chair and had that face that I've had a million times where I sucked the air out of the room with something that I thought would be hilarious and very quickly realized crossed a line. It didn't look like she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Hey,
No.
like she looked appropriately demurred. She's 22. Leave her alone. Like
She's 27.
So she's 27. Leave her alone. I don't know. Ben felt highly confrontational and he acknowledged no part of his own in it.
Net, Kyle patriarchs and takes the head of the table and says, Ben, you have the floor. So Ben continues that he likes the way Amanda can walk into a room and brighten up with her smile. Everyone loves it. She graciously thanks him. Bailey apologizes again, more nervous laughter. Amanda puts her head in her hands.
But let's not blow right by that. Bailey apologized again. She knew she screwed up. Unless Ben had approached her to say, hey, I really want you to know which part of that sucked. You said sleep with her, dude. That's so out of line. And Bailey could go, I know, I picked the wrong words. Or oh, now I see where the line was crossed. I made an assumption about you seeing her boobs multiple times in front of me and in your history, whatever. But he didn't do that. He was mean, I thought.
Wow.
You didn't think so? You thought it was okay?
We'll get there. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's okay, but
not, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I understood why he needed to get more information about it and talk about it more.
But he talked about it. He didn't listen to her. He came in and he yelled at her. And as she was saying, I apologize and I want you to, and she had to say hey, look at me. I'm talking to you. So he got to say his piece, insult her messy room, and then stands up to storm off. No.
I think what is upsetting to me, she's not telling him, I have a crush on you. And so everything you're doing, I'm watching because I'm interested in you. And I want your attention, but you're giving it to Amanda and you want Amanda even though she's married and I have a crush on you. And because he kept saying what is it? Why do you keep making this joke? This is now the second time you've done it. It's the second time she's made the joke in front of Kyle. It's a thing. She is talking about it with her friends and she's talking about it in front of the whole cast and she's talking about it in front of Kyle and Amanda and Ben. So I feel like he's picking up on something. Why are you singling me out? But doesn't know why. And she won't tell him.
Either he does know why. If you're a hot guy, you learn to sense that. And also she said last week, don't go for him. He's too good for me. She's not comfortable with him. She's not actually in a position to pursue him. And I get what you're saying, that she's trying to deflect that by making jokes about Amanda and Kyle. I don't think it's as egregious, for him to say what's really going on. It's so aggressive and say what you mean, but don't say it mean. You've done this twice now, and it makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Can you please table this? There's a way to be nice.
But that is what he said.
I didn't hear it like that at all. I thought he was so shaming and shitty and weird. Because I agree with Jesse when he said to Ben, like, why are you reacting like this? Why? Why are you so fucking freaked out about a girl making a joke that everyone else agreed is inappropriate? Let it go.
Because
You
it's
win.
the second time it's happened. It's the second time she's said something in front of the guy
That he wrapped
Amanda's
a towel
married
around.
to.
He picked up, like,
Yes,
but
he did.
it's
He
all,
did.
it's,
He did
that's what
that
I'm saying
stuff.
is like, it's all gray and blurry and weird. And Ben acts as if he's this buttoned up man sitting with his hands in his lap who's never done a thing. And Bailey's
I see what you're saying.
extrapolating that he could sleep with her. They only met when her whole naked body was in a pool and her husband wasn't. They only partied at a pool with her tits out, and West acknowledged, we see your tits. And like, and I think Bailey's right. If Jesse had said it, yeah, you want to sleep with her, man, everyone would have gone like, ha, 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 great joke, and moved it along. It just does. It
God.
felt, I didn't, it felt like something else in Ben was awoken and that did not belong to Bailey.
I think there's probably truth to it. I think there's probably a little bit of truth to it. But also when he said, I mean, we're jumping all over, but like when he said later about, I am so free with her because I know I'm friend zoned. We're both friend zoned. So like that's
Tell
what-
Bailey that in that tone.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't he say that to her? Like, you should know.
I don't know.
That the reason I'm so comfortable around Amanda naked is because we are firmly friend zoned. So like what you're saying is crossing a real big line because there's none of that there. She's married. I'm not interested. Stop. But he didn't do that. He was like, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you?
Because she said it twice
I get it.
in front of the both of them.
But why wouldn't he? If it was me, I would cop to like, I get how this is probably confusing. We did meet naked in a pool. We did party here naked. I do engage with her in a flirtatious way.
And that is what they've talked about. Like when we see all the flashbacks, they have had those conversations.
With Bailey?
As the whole cast. The whole cast has. Yeah, like how do you guys know each other? That's like how that was like, I think the first time we met Ben. Well, the first time we met, it was this. Oh, okay. You've seen her boobs?
But to me, if I'm Bailey and I hear that level, like she said, that looseness, that relaxed nature, talking about sex and boobs and naked, I too would have no problem being like, you want to sleep with her. It's the next, why? I don't know. I don't know. I think whatever, there's no boundaries. And like Bailey operated from a place of no boundaries and she got in trouble where no one else does.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So Kyle tells everyone that they're going to have dessert and leaves to get Amanda's present. And after telling everyone he couldn't invest in soft bar, he returns the table with a Cartier bag. So I don't know. Did he get it for free? It could be. Absolutely. It could be SpawnCon. 100% could be. Or discount SpawnCon. I don't know.
No, because Amanda says Kyle doesn't spend money. He's very frugal. And so this was a big swing and it was meaningful to her in that way.
We see a montage of all of her past birthdays and his lack of thoughtfulness around them. And in his confessional, he says, with the way that their current summer is going, nailing this year's birthday is mission critical. I'm impatient with him. It's a watch. Everyone cheers for what a great job Kyle did.
And in that moment, I was glad to hear Amanda acknowledge it later because in that moment, I was like, oh no, this moment just became about Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and he was eating it up. He
Completely.
wasn't trying to throw the focus back on the birthday girl. He was like, yeah. I was like, Kyle.
Yep. He just wants the accolades. He wants the send it. He wants the DJ praise, the birthday gift praise, whatever. So they all go into Club Send It to dance for a while they're still in their outfits before they go out to a legit club. And Bailey goes upstairs and Amanda walks to her in Kyle's room to FaceTime her mom. I only mentioned that they're both leaving the room because Bailey and Amanda pass by a completely wide open umbrella. Instead of moving it out of the way, they just walk around it while they go to the stairs or the bedroom. And I'm like, oh my God. But I also have done that in my own house. It's just annoying when I see other people do it because I judge myself. Okay, there.
I thought this was such an interesting look at like the dissolution of a marriage because in this moment, this night felt really happy. And like, I actually really did feel the love between Amanda and Kyle. And while sad that Amanda had to call her mom to say, and they both applauded, Kyle listened, like that was sad, but that's how low the bar has been set for this man. And they were genuinely happy that he reached it. Soon they will be divorcing or separated, but I can get in a headspace of like, it's black and white. Like when it's bad, you leave. And it's like, no, it's like this. It's like these moments of like deep tenderness and dear affection scattered amongst that awful conversation on the dunes. You know what we should talk about? We don't have compatibility. We don't have sexual blah, blah, blah. It's complicated. And it just makes me feel for them because I do believe they love each other and I don't believe it's going to be enough to save their marriage. And that is sad. But a Cartier watch was a nice Band-Aid for the night.
Totally. Such a great way to describe it as a Band-Aid. So in Club Send It, Ben tells KJ, Wes, and Jesse, I need to chill for a second. God damn it. He is activated. And the four of them are clearly tipsy and they are in full fucking Yenta mode. They're voicing their shock that she said it. Ben wants to find out what made Bailey say what she said. And him saying all this with like the cutouts behind him was hilarious. And on Watch What Happens Live, Danny was on. And Danny said what everyone else who was watching said about the county fair party. It looked, especially when Ben picked Amanda up with his bare hands on her bare waist, like something was going on. So, it's not just Bailey, Ben. It's me. It's you, Margie. It's Danny Pellegrino.
But look who gets yelled at for it. Bailey. Ben gives her no grace for being like, I can see where you might find that. Like nothing.
Yeah. I'm beginning to see that.
And it was just a joke. It could have just been a passing joke. But he's so Lindsay activated that he's like, God damn it, I gotta cool down. I'm like, you gotta cool down? What is like that to me is just like, what is alive in you right now that has nothing to do? Have you been accused of this before? Have you slept with someone's wife or girlfriend? What is alive in you that has nothing to do with stranger Bailey making a couple jokes about you sleeping with someone, having a crush on someone whose tits you've been ogling since the day you met? It's weird to me. It just feels big. A lot of onus to put on Bailey. Anyways.
Amanda and Ciara and Levi are having a little debrief about it. And Amanda says Bailey's in love with Ben. And Levi and Ciara agree. They're all in agreement that her flirting is not working out. Ciara says that Ben does seem perturbed.
And that, to me, that conversation was the right level of investment in this. Of Levi going like, dude, she's so out of line that she is trying to flirt and it is going all kinds of left. And the other two girls are like, it sure is. And we could leave it there. But instead, Daddy storms up to the bedroom to sit down and put baby in timeout.
Back in Club Send It, Jesse asks Ben, why are you so upset about this comment? And Ben says it's because it's the second time she's said something. Then we see the flashback to the Ren Fair party last weekend. Bailey's standing with Ben, Kyle, and Amanda. Bailey tells Amanda, Ben is hitting on you. Ben says, no, I'm not. Bailey says, that's the problem. Ben loves you. Amanda says, oh, yep, that's clearly the issue, is that he's in love with me. Ben tells Jesse, West, and KJ, she keeps saying it over and over, that I'm in love with her. So obviously Bailey thinks something's going on top of the fact that she's talking over me.
There we go. Everybody meet Ben.
God, am I just...
No, I just thought that was interesting that when the boys didn't jump on board with like, she said it more than once. And the guys were like, shrug. And then he's like, and she talks over me. I hate it when people talk over me. She didn't talk over you. She made a joke and it sucked. And then she shut up and sat back in her chair and looked mortified.
She did.
And now you're painting her as someone who overtalked you and is gossiping and talking shit and something's going on with her. Her. I'm going to go up and give her what's what. Like, what are you doing? Everyone is in Club Send It going like, why do you care, dude? Party, party, party. And he's like, obsessed. Anyways.
Ben says that he knows he's been treating Amanda differently to everybody. And that's because she's in the friend zone and I can be myself. I can be flirty without thinking that I'm making any moves or hitting on you, basically. So when Bailey said that, it kind of threw me off a bit. Like, God, does it look like that? Is everybody thinking that? I was all, yes, we are. But I have to get to the bottom of this now. So if I'm doing something, which is everyone is thinking, I need to stop doing that today. And I just thought that that was like more information about what he shared about a couple weeks ago, that he's super awkward around women and can't talk about dating or women or sex without getting super embarrassed. Like he feels a safety because she is taken. It doesn't make sense. I get that. Like I get bringing someone a towel could be weird. And I get that it could make Kyle and his lack of thoughtfulness for Amanda be a stark contrast to Ben's thoughtfulness for Amanda, you know?
I think at the very least, it opened a door for Bailey to make the joke. And again, he's just fixated on it because in Club Send It, when he's trying to get the boys on his side, he's, in his language, he's like, they're saying I want to fuck my mate's missus, and the guys crack up at the language he's used. They have no investment in what he's talking about because they all know it's not real. Everybody knows it's not real. I think even Bailey knows it's not real. It was just her trying to make a joke. And then it becomes this thing in his confessional. He says, I have to get to the bottom of this. If I'm doing something which everyone is thinking, I need to stop that. So why are you yelling at Bailey? Go sit down and think about what you've been doing that's making people think that you might sleep with Amanda. I look at her boobs and I pick her up with my bare hands when she's in a bikini. I bring her coffee every morning. I am doing things that a boyfriend does. So
I can
maybe
see
I'll
that. I can see
go
that.
reflect instead of scream at the girl upstairs and like not give a shit that she's not coming to the club. It's just
Was he screaming though? He wasn't screaming.
he wasn't screaming.
He was expressing feelings of anger and like, what the fuck? Like, where is this coming from? Give me an explanation of why you said this. But she doesn't do that. She just says, I'm sorry. And it's not my joke to say, but she doesn't keep up. She's not clean on her end either. I don't think either of them handled this well.
She was being confronted in her room by this guy who, like you said, is angry. And she did say, you guys joke about this all the time. You're loose with this kind of subject matter. I took it too far. She said, I jumped in on a joke that wasn't mine to make. And if Ben was listening, he can still be angry and say, okay, good, we're clear, and leave. But instead, he insults the mess on her floor, which did what it was intended to do. It shut her up right away. Everyone in that room got real quiet. And then he got to leave, making her feel like shit and not reflecting at all on anything he's done. It's her fault. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was grasping. I do. I think she just really likes him, and she's just been in her head so much since the beginning of the summer, trying to nail this flirting thing and get
I agree
him to like her
completely.
back. Ben asks her, I'm trying to figure out where your head's at by saying, I want to fuck Amanda. And she says, I was joking because
She
you
first
guys
said
tell
I didn't
the
use
story.
the word fuck.
No, she did not.
So he's already coming in with a take on this that's a little darker than what was actually said.
She says, you guys are always, you're joking. You guys are always talking about how you met naked skinny dipping. I only heard them talk about it once. That's when they were all in the kitchen at the beginning of the season, and that's how they met. How do you know, Ben? This is how. Oh my God. It is kind of, it's a salacious way to meet somebody for the first time. I get that. I'm not naive, but I don't know. I feel like she is also trying to she is obsessing about how they met. No one else is. Not Amanda, not the rest of the cast, not Kyle, not Ben. Bailey is fixated on it because Bailey's obsessing about him, and Bailey is obsessing about what a shitty job she's doing trying to attract a guy like Ben. And so she's also not being honest with herself. And yes, she is saying, I'm sorry, but I don't think that she's being clean either. And he's pissed. I can't imagine what it would be like to have someone say that in front of this woman and her husband, who I'm friends with. I don't know. I'm not taking anybody's side, but I'm also not just straight Ben is in the wrong here. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to cut to. I've been having a really hard time lately with a lot of my own self-hatred, just like full fucking disclosure. And feeling, how do I explain it? Like I'm looking for ways to protect myself from being hurt right now, you know? And so when I saw her saying that like Ben was just being angry and like yelling at her, I'm like, dude, that's not what's happening at all. I did not see it as him being this toxic, yelling man. I think he was like looking down because he didn't want to trip. I don't think he was making a commentary on how
But
much
he
shit
said
was in her
it.
room.
He said it. He said, I'm stepping over your stuff so I can leave. Like, that's just a shitty thing to say. That's just like you're a mess.
Oh, see,
Just
I
throw that
didn't
in
take it
there.
like that. I just took it as like, I don't want to trip on your shoes, but it's not, I didn't think he was making a judgment. I just thought he was like,
Yeah.
you happen to see me looking down because I don't want to fucking fall. That's it.
If Kyle and Amanda were Barack and Michelle Obama, I would understand Ben being like, what the hell are you talking about? What is going on with you? But Kyle and Amanda, they maybe only mentioned the naked skinny dipping once, but then Bailey is observing Kyle being absent and Ben being attentive. Ben and Amanda flirting, Amanda being in the pool naked with Ben, not Kyle. And Kyle being pissed about it. You know what I mean? It's like she's seeing, I don't know. It's not out of the realm of possibility that like uh I understand where the joke came from. And again, I am projecting all of my insecurities onto Bailey because I am the one who likes to make a joke. And that feels like a fun way to engage in conversation, especially when I'm with people I don't know very well. And I could totally see myself taking the information that Bailey had and making the same joke and being told that there's something deeper going on with me is like, that's a lot.
But there
That's a
is,
lot.
she likes him. She's liked him since the first,
Right.
this is the 5th weekend that we've been watching and she hasn't told him. And so he is not,
But why
he's
does
like,
she have to tell him?
she
She just
doesn't
made
have
a dumb
to.
joke.
She
Like,
doesn't have to, but also don't try to tell him he's crazy. He's like, there's something else. What is it? And she's like, nothing. And I find that she's lying by omission.
well, then I hope Ben is satisfied watching this back and seeing her talk about how much she has a crush on him. I hope that satisfies whatever motivated this
But I think
conversation.
that's what got me is that like he's like, why? Like his gut is telling him there's something more going on, but she's looking him in the eye and saying, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. By the way, you don't know I have a huge crush on you and I talk about you all the fucking time with everybody in this house, except for you.
But then I guess that's where I just go back to his confessional and I'm like, he didn't say anything about like something's definitely going on with Bailey. I wish I could get to the bottom of it. He said, if I'm doing something that everyone thinks makes me predatory toward Amanda, I need to look into that and stop it. But he doesn't do any of that. He just.
He tells her he thinks there's something more to her joking and he doesn't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not funny. And I don't think you're trying to be funny. And I'm like, exactly. Like he knows something is up. But she says, if there was something else going on, I would tell you. They had this conversation. She's gaslighting him, basically. Because he's
You
like, there's
think
something
that
else
you
going
think
on.
an offhanded joke at the table is worth
Offhanded
this
joke is
level?
one thing. Saying you want to sleep with someone's wife in front of them when they're having a terrible fucking time of it and fighting in front of everybody, and Bailey's even saying, like, what the fuck do we do? Yeah. I'd go upstairs too and be like, I need to know what the fuck you were thinking right now. I need to know what the fuck you were thinking. And I need you to be 110% fucking honest about me what you were thinking, because that was way out of fucking line.
I guess I could take that from Kyle more than Ben. If Kyle went up there and was like, yo, you are saying some nasty shit about my wife. What is that? I could understand that. But
Yeah.
Ben, I don't get it as much.
I don't
but
know.
Whatever.
They're just trying to figure it out. He sets a boundary saying he would appreciate it if she would stop making that comment. She agrees to that and apologizes again. And this is when she asks him to look at her. And she's like, I'm looking down because I don't want to step on your stuff or over. I'm going to step your stuff over your stuff to get out of your room. And he accepts her apology. I don't know. I, as someone, again, I've talked about my messy room so many times, especially this season, especially when I talk about Amanda. I've talked about my messy room, and I did not take it as anything other than like, I don't want to fucking trip right now. He happened to be looking down out of self-preservation at the wrong time when she wanted him to hear her. And
Yeah.
so,
I mean, at the end of the day, like they did set a boundary. He said, don't say that anymore. And she said, okay. And then he said, I'll see you out there. And then she went into the bathroom and cried and never came out. And he never looked back.
Mia comes downstairs and finds KJ and Ciara, and she has been standing outside the door, and she knows that Ben just left the room really, really pissed. She tells them that Ben has anger issues. KJ and Ciara, she tells KJ and Ciara that Ben has anger issues. And I was like, was I watching the same scene? Was that a storm off? Am I okay? Am I desensitized to anger? Sometimes I feel like a lot of people misinterpret expressions of emotion and lump it all under anger. And I feel like his reaction is appropriate, and so is hers. Everyone, I felt like, is reasonably reacting here. Her feeling shame is appropriate. Him being angry is appropriate, I thought. I don't know. So Levi walks into the room she's sharing with Bailey, and Bailey is in her pajamas, and Levi's like, you're not going out. Bailey's like, absolutely not. And she says that she and Ben talked, and I don't know, was it Levi or was it Bailey that said if one of the guys had said it, everyone would have laughed? I don't know. I think everyone would have reacted the same fucking way. I really do.
I don't know either. I don't know Ben well enough to know if he would.
I don't
he
think
would
Ben
do.
knows himself well enough to know. I don't think Bailey does either, though, because she says in her confessional, that was a disproportionate response. That's what I kept thinking. A man has not yelled at me since my ex-boyfriend. He was horrible, and he would break my shit, and he was really mean to me, and it was purely toxic, abusive relationship. And she says, if Ben isn't doing anything I would say is in any way similar to the things I've experienced, but just the situation of the confrontation just really puts me into a horrible place. I can see how that can happen, and I also know that it's not fair to make somebody else pay the bill for somebody else's behavior. And my very first therapist, Fran, would tell me that, because one of the major things I would talk to her about was my first long-term serious relationship that I was in was when she was my therapist. You know, the TLDRs, I had a terrible time trusting because my father was not trustworthy. And so I had a terrible time believing that my boyfriend could be absolutely as in love and obsessed with me as he was. And everyone around us could fucking see it, except for me. I was constantly questioning everything he did. And she's like, you cannot make him pay for your dad's bill, Ramona. And that's what I saw happening in this confessional. I mean, Bailey did say, like, I'm not saying he did what my ex-boyfriend did, but if it's hysterical, it's historical, for sure. Maybe Ben has some historical shit that he's not talking about either. I was invited to look at the reality of the situation that I was in versus my fears around the situation that I was in. And it's not easy. And I'm really glad that Bailey can see that too.
It is exactly what you're saying. Like, yes, you can't make someone else pay the bill, but it takes a while to get there. And Bailey's just a year out of this relationship. And it sounds like any confrontation from a man does trigger a historical response in her, which I thought she was taking responsibility for in this confessional, that she related this immediately back to her boyfriend. It's not, she doesn't talk about Ben like at all. She's like, it felt disproportionate and I receive it in that way because.
Right.
Whereas in Ben's confessional, he was like saying something very different than what happened in that conversation. So I'm unclear.
Yeah.
I'm unclear what's going on with him. I'm clear what's going on with Bailey, but I don't know what's going on with Ben. And that makes me feel squirrely because I'm like, if I don't know what's going on with you, then talk about not trusting. That's where I get spooked. And I'm like, if I don't know what the fuck's going to set you off, then like, I'm scared of you because I will surely hit the hair trigger and be
I can
on the
see that.
receiving
I
end
can
of
see
some
that.
shit.
I can see that because he has not expressed any emotion like this ever. He's gone, this is like, yeah, okay, all right, okay. I can see this then. He has not ever expressed anything close to even annoyance this whole time we've seen him. And then all of a sudden I still think though, it's like because his gut is like pinging. She's not telling me the full truth. And also she says, I want to fuck this person in front of her husband. Anyway,
we wind up back down in Club Send It. Bailey and Levi are in their room in bed together, which is sweet. And Ciara asks Ben if he thinks Bailey is sad right now. And Ben just goes, I don't want her to be sad. And then Ciara goes to check on Bailey, which is so sweet. I thought that was like a real nice moment just to make sure she's okay. Mia goes with her and they lay on the bed and sort of get Bailey's download of what happened.
Bailey tells them she hates having a guy yell at her. And I was like, was he yelling? He was angry, but he wasn't. I don't know. I didn't take it as yelling. I taught it as like, what the fuck, man?
She
You
did.
know?
She took it as yelling, and like she said, it's connected to this ex, and so she's not able to separate those two. But I thought the next thing she said was the most relevant, where she apologized to Amanda, saying like, if that joke hurt your feelings in any way, it really was intended as a joke. I can admit when I do something wrong. And Amanda says she has thick skin, but she sees how uncomfortable it makes Ben. And Bailey is done with Ben at this point. She's like, I don't give a shit about Ben.
Yeah. She feels rejected by the guy she has a crush on. It's like it's extra sticky. It's not just like a friend expressing displeasure with you. It's like the guy that she likes, that she's been like trying to figure out how to get his attention this whole time. How do I flirt with him? How do I get Ben, Aquaman? Levi decides to stay home. She doesn't want to go out because her friend is going to stay home. And that was really sweet. Everyone leaves for a club called Murph's. We see footage of them partying it up. And then we see that against footage of Bailey and Levi in their bed.
It was amazing. Just like
It was
a cut
amazing.
to total stillness and silence to the point where I thought my TV had frozen.
Complete obsession. Silent obsession.
And then Bailey just turns to Levi and says, see, now you're stuck here with lame ass me in the quiet. And you think that Levi's going to like roll her eyes, but she rolls over and hugs her and she goes, bitch, I'm not stuck with you. And I thought that was so sweet.
I loved it. It's a darling. It was darling.
I've been on both sides of that where like I'm in a pissy mood and I don't want to go out. And if I was out, I'd be a pisser out in the world.
Totally.
And then Levi, I've been in that position where like I want to go out, but I wouldn't be able to think about anything except my friend who's in pain while I'm out. So I'll just stay at home with my friend because that will solve the problem. So I thought that was real sweet.
So at 3:01, we see the rest of the cast come home and immediately hit the leftovers and go into Club Send It. And we see West sitting on Ciara. And in her confessional, Ciara tells us, here's the thing about West. When he sits on you, he has a crush. She says all of this with a huge grin on her face.
She is lit up. It's so cute.
Completely. And he sat on her before they ever started dating a few summers ago. And she said, sitting on me is West coded. Like, you love me, but why now? I have to admit, I really like seeing them get along.
It's really sweet. And I do wonder if why now is it because Jesse was going to move in? Like, is that what?
I'm sure it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, like, Ben has said several times, Ciara's next level, Carl. I mean, that's like the one thing that everybody in this fucking house can agree on. Man, woman, whatever. Ciara is a next level person. So then we cut to Ciara sitting between West and Kyle on Kyle's bed. Kyle has his shoes on. It's fucking disgusting. And she excuses herself to get up and check on the buffalo chicken dip. Yum.
Oh. At 3 a.m., I was just like, oh my God, they're cooking buffalo chicken dip. God bless.
So Kyle stays back to yenta it up with West, and he tells West that was awesome. And West's like, are you referring to about me and Ciara getting along so well? And Kyle says yes. And West agrees, but he says, I don't know what to do. He says that they hate each other for 3 weeks, that it's so good. And Kyle's like, it's so good, West. And Kyle's chatting in West's face about how excited he is about what he observed. And I'm just thinking, is everybody on cocaine? I'm just going to say it. Is everybody on cocaine?
I think everybody except KJ, because when KJ hit the wall, he hit it like someone who did not do cocaine. He's like, I cannot stay awake 1 minute longer. And he went to bed. Whereas if you're on cocaine, you can always squeeze out 1 more minute.
Kyle having such an open heart and really invested and like right up in West's face. I'm like, oh, this is chemically enhanced.
Yes,
interest.
and talking more than listening, all
Yes,
the things.
Exactly. And really going out there, like really speculating, getting real philosophical. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. And listen, I don't fucking know. I have very to my knowledge, I have few interactions with people under the influence of cocaine. Again, to my knowledge, maybe. But like this just seemed a little,
It was speedy. For
yeah,
3 a.m., it was
it was a little
speedy.
amplified. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it
And
was
then we
very.
got Wes' version of this, and he says that crush isn't necessarily the word he used because they aren't friends during the day. So he's like, is it a nighttime crush, a PM crush, an after dark crush? I thought that was cute. He's like, it's definitely not a breakfast crush or a lunch crush. And he says the better question is, what does she think at this time?
So then we see a scene with Amanda and Kyle. Amanda's on Kyle's lap and she's thanking him for her watch and her birthday in general. And in his confessional, Kyle says, we had a rough start to the summer, so we needed this. I needed this. Ugh, God. Thank you for validating my reaction with that look you gave me too. Like, yeah, this is so fucking
It's her
exhausting.
birthday, and it
It's her
winds up with like
birthday.
an I statement. I was like, Kyle,
Yeah,
can you give her
exactly.
one day? Come on, man.
So Ciara's in the kitchen and she's eating buffalo dip, and a shirtless West strolls in, and Ciara's all, why do you look like that? And this was the most amazing thing I've ever heard on fucking Bravo. He says, because I thought I was alone.
That was the most honest moment ever captured on film. I was like, yes, we've all been there wearing something ridiculous where you don't expect to run into someone and you're like, oh, hello, shit. Here I am with my full dad bod eating buffalo chicken dip with the girl I have a crush on. Oops. But it's also, again, a look at like chemistry, and it surpasses all that crap. When you like someone, you like someone. Abs, no ab, nobody gives a rip. At a certain point, there is chemistry between those two that is undeniable to everyone who encounters them, you know?
100%. Oh, so Wes asks Ciara, are you having fun? And she's all like, tonight or in general? He's all, I don't even know any other way to ask that. And she says, you don't know what you mean? And he tells her in a whisper, I don't know how to talk to you if I'm being so honest.
Oh,
God,
that was
I
sweet.
know. And Ciara replies, well, I feel like I've designed it perfectly that way. And I was all coping, manipulation.
It was so, talk about coded. That was so page coded of like, well, that's exactly how I designed it. It's like,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. I mean, appropriate for her to have distance, want distance
Well,
between
she
them while
says
she figures
it.
it out. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he fucked up, but also, like, let's call it what it is. It's like, I'm going to keep this upper hand because you scare me and I can't not have the upper hand right now.
Yes, but she drops it, you know, like shortly, and does say what she means, which I appreciated in her. But yeah, I loved him for saying he just lays it all out there. He's like, I don't know what to do before filming, after. I would like to talk to you. You know, in her confessionals, she says, flirting, having fun, drunken stupor is great. In the sober daylight, a conversation where I have to put my guard down and be so vulnerable, not sure about that. And then Ben wanders in and catches a whiff of the intensity of this conversation, moves right out. And Ciara is saying to West, she drops all the pretense and just goes, I don't think that I trust you or your intentions or interactions. You don't know how to talk to me because I don't know how to talk to you.
Yeah.
We don't trust each other yet. And at West, God bless him, he was like, I understand that and that's my fault. And they kind of seem to leave it there.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen. So the next morning, Saturday, July 26th at 10:12 a.m., I really maintain the belief that they are not allowed to have curtains in their bedroom because production wants them awaked so that they can record them. And extra mess happens when there's little sleep. West, oh my God. Oh my God. We see West smothering, hovering over Jesse, wishing him good morning with kisses, just so ferociously. And he says, you're a sweet boy. And I am convinced because of this, he is going to love being a dad and smothering his kids with affection. I am convinced of it when he's ready. Please, God, not soon.
He's a very affectionate guy, which is sweet to see because he could be a bro, but he's like, he makes casseroles and kisses good morning, you know, like he's.
You're a sweet boy.
Yeah, it's funny and adorable.
It was like what I or Josh do to Leo. Like, we just want to eat you. You're so fucking rad. We just love you. We want to consume. Leo's like, my God. But he's a grown man doing it to his other grown man friend. And I loved it.
Levi and Bailey are waking up, and Bailey reports that she's sweating because of her anxiety. So she has not had an easy night of sleep. And today she says she's gone from sad to mad and kind of wants to pop off on Ben.
Yeah, I didn't care for that strategy. I understand it. I validate it. But it also, two wrongs don't make a right.
And she didn't. She just said she wanted to. She held it together.
You're right. So KJ asks Jesse about, hey, how'd your conversation with Ciara go?
I love KJ. I just loved his line of questioning here because KJ goes straight for it, but with the most casual tone. He asked Jesse, did you set boundaries or nah?
So cute.
Basically saying like, I hope you set boundaries, dude. But he says it like so sweet and casual. Basically, Jesse just reports that they have decided to stop flirting, which was not a clear takeaway from that conversation, but I was happy to hear Jesse say that at least he has some sense of where the line is now. So that's progress. And I love KJ for saying, he's like, Jesse, you're the bro, Ciara's the sis. I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And Wes pipes in and goes, KJ, you're a very good guy. You mean well in everything you do. And I don't know if people tell you that enough. They couldn't tell him that. They couldn't tell him that enough. Tell him a million times a day. He is a good guy and he does mean well and he asks the right questions with the right attitude. I'm taking lessons from KJ.
Same. And West says, I'm trying to be like you. That is like the best thing ever, is when you can inspire someone just by like living your clean life. Like, oh, I want that. I want to do that too.
Yeah. And when you can look to your friend group for something to aspire to or something to learn from, you have a good friend group.
100%.
And
I love that Wes said it and that he saw it to begin with.
Mm-hmm. But they're so open like that from the beginning. I love their relationship too. From the beginning when West was like, are you doing okay? And he's like, honestly, I had an anxiety attack. And like they talk it through. I'll check in on you. Like they're great.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe it's generational, but like I didn't grow up observing any male friendships with this level of connection. And I love observing it.
Josh and his soulmate bestie. Absolutely. And I think the very first boyfriend I was talking about earlier in this episode was like that. And they remind me of each other. And how I met Josh was through the first one. So no mistakes there. Anyway, so at 1:24 p.m., the cast is getting ready to leave for a vineyard. West is sitting shotgun in one of the cars. Ciara opens the door, like basically implying
never looking more beautiful. Holy crap. Heels, dress, hair, perfection.
Completely. She just expects him to relinquish the shotgun seat to her, and he's all, no. And she says, no. And he says, I'm standing up for myself today. And everyone is in faux shock. He's proud of himself, and everyone in both cars is analyzing Ciara and West.
And like everyone is rooting for West and Ciara, including West and Ciara, I think. And then we arrive at the vineyard and Bailey does not want to sit next to Ben. And it becomes, I couldn't tell if it was like a notable thing to the people sitting at the table or if they just turned the mics up for us at home. Because nobody else at the table seemed to notice, but Bailey did not want to sit across from Ben. And that's fine. They had a fight the night before. Better to like keep the peace and sit apart.
They start drinking their sparkling rosé round, and Ciara asks Kyle to take pictures of her in the grape aisles. What are they called? The vineyard? I guess it's called a vineyard, right? I don't know.
The aisles of grapes is better.
And so while she's posing, Kyle says, give me I flirted with Wes last night energy. He's just such a fucking yenta. Bring other positive things, and then maybe I'll excuse the shit that you do and find you charming. But instead, I'm just annoyed by you the whole time. People are having to prove themselves to me right now. They really are. Fuck. What does that mean?
I was dying at like Kyle occasionally Kyle will expose his age. And this was one of those moments, like the squat he took when he was taking the picture was so the exact position my mom gets in to take a picture and she's 84. And then when he's like, they didn't call me the Ansel Adams in high school for nothing. And Ciara going like, who's Ansel Adams? And he was like, oh, he was a famous scenic photographer who shot in only black and white until the end of the career when he started to incorporate color. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. So occasionally he's just a grandpa and I enjoy his grandpa energy. He got me in this scene. I thought it was cute.
So at the table, Mia tells Amanda, I'm so happy for you that you got that watch from Kyle. And Amanda says, this was more of a gift for himself than it was for me because he got the applause and the kudos from you guys. Then she says, and now I can leave him and I got a watch out of it.
I don't think it was sinister. I think at the time she really thought it was a joke. You don't think so?
I think she thought it was a joke, but the fact that she was like, she's letting it all fucking hang out, whether or not she knew at this time they were going to be dissolving their union as we and they know it. I don't know yet. But, and now I can leave him and I got to watch out of it.
It's probably that thing of like starting to experiment with using that language with
Yeah.
someone you've been with for over a decade, of like, I guess I'm going to try out what it sounds like if I say leave him, and I'll do it in this joking way around friends. And, it's hard. But yeah, she will. She has now left him and got to watch out of it. So salute. And then we cut to Ben and Ciara playing cornhole. Fucking
Cornhole.
cornhole.
Fucking cornhole.
Oh
my
God. And they're like competitive, and Ben is like uncomfortable around Ciara. Like watching him feel like off center is kind of fun. Ben says, it's been great getting to know you the last few weeks. And Ciara says it's nice. She actually doesn't annoy him, and he's brought some like less stupid boy energy into the house. And then Ciara asks directly, are you dating, looking for a relationship? And then Ben said he's been trying to work on himself because earlier in the year he was dating someone and they seemed to have like a hot and heavy 2 weeks. And the girl said, I love you. And he froze and then explained to her that he will be going to the Hamptons for the summer and he doesn't want that level of commitment. What if he meets someone out there? He appears conflicted about that. He doesn't like himself for saying that, but at least he told her the truth as opposed to Jesse Solomon last year, They showed a picture that they took like in bed and he said, we spent the first 100 hours after meeting together, which is romantic and also chemical. And they took a really cute picture of the two of them in bed. And I swear that's the girl who was in the audience of Watch What Happens Live when he was on it. So I wonder if they have reconnected. I hope so. That'd be a cute, fun love story and a tribute to therapy and all the things that Ben has been working on.
It seems like he's really hung up on her. And that is probably why he's not giving any vibes to anybody else.
Yeah.
Is because
it's like
he's
Andrea.
preoccupied.
Remember when Andrea was obsessed with Lexi?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're married. So maybe Ben will follow a similar path. And then Ciara's amazing because she's like, why don't you just be honest with her and say, like, that seemed like it went a little fast for me, but just telling him to tell the truth. She says to him, you have to be the one to open the door. It's on you now. And she says, as someone who's guarded myself, once you've been burned, I can't show up as the same me as I was before I was burned. So you have to do a lot of work here to make up ground. And I thought that was such a great perspective and a really lovely moment of sharing her experience, strength, and hope with this man,
Agreed.
to help him along.
So the cast returns home and they talk about getting in the pool. And while Ben and Amanda are by themselves walking in, they're the last ones to walk into the house from the vineyard. They say, oh, but we have to remain clothed. And Ben says, don't make this joke when Bailey is around. So I don't know. I don't think they would have made that joke if the conversation the night before hadn't happened.
It just, again, feels like it's at Bailey's expense. They're flirting in this moment and then saying Bailey's crazy. And I'm like, you guys,
I can see
either
that.
just leave her out of it or acknowledge like, yeah, I guess I can see where she might, whatever, Ben. It's all fine.
So KJ, Ciara, and Amanda are on the porch in the backyard, and Amanda asks him to confirm that he and Dara had sex yesterday morning, and he says that. We see a flashback to her asking him at the vineyard, hey, KJ, when was the last time you had sex? And he's all, yesterday morning? I still don't know that Dara's going to be okay with this sharing, but I'm excited to tune in next week and find out. Amanda wants to know if they are hot and heavy. And we see a montage. Oh my God, I know it's chemical. But like they're on the same page. They're FaceTiming and they're texting and his eyes are smitten and his body language when they're FaceTiming is smitten. And her voice, we hear her call him baby. Like they're so cute. And he said, yes, they're hot and heavy. He's kind of hiding under the hood of his sweatshirt. And he's a
little uncomfortable. But I loved that flashback sequence of like the mundane excitement of new love where she answers the phone and he's like, no way you're lying down too.
Totally.
It's like, oh, two people lying down. Oh, wow. You have everything in common. And then he calls her at some point to go like, I ate a piece of cake and now I have a tummy ache. But it's like you want to share literally everything with that person. So it's like, here's what I ate and here's how I feel after I ate it. It's so cute.
So he tells Amanda, I felt so sad when she left last weekend. and I'm going to see her tomorrow, and we're going to a Yankees game on Monday I got us tickets for. Then this is also, okay, so two of the best things I've ever heard. Like first West earlier, and now Amanda asks KJ, do you move fast? And he says, if people like each other and they see each other once a week, if you're free, we'll make time. Fucking brilliant. Honest. No games.
It's just so unusual from a young man.
Right.
This is why I would date older men, is because that's how they thought. They were like, look, I like you. I have tickets to this thing. Let's go. And instead of being like, we should wait 3 days and blah, 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 they were just like, no, come on. And I love that KJ at a young age is like, I like her. I want to spend time with her. If she's free and I'm free, we're going to spend our time together. Let's fucking go. I love it.
So in his confessional, he just says that he misses her a lot. It's not just because she's hot. We connected on a bunch of different things. It's deeper than that. But I don't think it's too fast because I haven't been with someone in a long time. So he's just comparing himself to himself, which I fucking appreciated so much. Instead of like, well, yeah, we should only see each other once a week, or what are people going to think? It's like, what am I comfortable with? I haven't done this in a long time. I'm real into this person. I'm just going to be real into this person. Fuck it.
And it's like brave. It's also all those rules that we were given, like
Exactly.
wait
Oh my
3 days
God.
before you have sex, blah, 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 all that stuff. It doesn't spare you any of the goddamn heartache if it doesn't work out, and it doesn't enhance any of the joy of the love if you wind up sharing that with the person. So I'm with KJ. I'm like, in my experience, I just feel like with being cautious of love bombing and getting like too wrapped up in making big long-term decisions in those first few months, God, yes. Disappear for 3 months and spend every minute together if you like someone that much. What a gift. That is
Totally.
a gift from the
Totally.
heavens. So enjoy.
Totally. Love it. I love it. He knows what's true for him. I love it. Oh my God. Then poor West is just being full drama. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be a bitch. I'm going to say he's being expressive. Okay.
I believe him. I believe he's struggling.
I do too.
Because I think he knows he's not evolved enough to get Ciara back. And also, he's in love with Ciara, and that would be torture for me as well. And I feel for him. And he's drunk. They've all been at a vineyard all day. So he's like, dude, I don't know what to do. I'm going through so many internal battles. And Ben directs him to have a seat on a daybed. And Wes explains that he's just been in this gray area with Ciara for so long, and it feels so good to be friends again. And he does say, I love her so much as a friend. But then he follows that up by saying, and when we were together, it was dreamy. And he literally said dreamy like a cartoon, like he went somewhere. And Ben, also clearly drunk from the vineyard, is like, yeah, she's unreal. Like everyone's in love with Ciara. And he does say to West, I see why she's special. And he thinks West is special too. And if he had been around to see them together, he would have thought this was the greatest thing of all time. And West says, I think she's great too. And Ben makes the appropriate assumption and says, what happened? You totally fucked it? And West is like, and at West, I appreciated his clarity. He said, Ciara wants a good boyfriend, someone who takes care of her. I was not in that place at all. Ben says her heart was broken and she really loved West. And West says he knows. And Ben asked a very thoughtful question. Do you have any regrets? And West says, of course. And Ben asked, does he miss her? And West says, yes. And then he asked, does Ciara know that? And West says she knows, but he doesn't know what else to do.
I don't know if she knows.
I don't think he's been explicit. I think him sitting on her chest, the signals are there. And if they have a non-drunk conversation when his shirt is on, not at 3 a.m. over buffalo nachos, he'll probably say, I miss you. And, we got a glimpse of some conversation they have where they're both in tears. And that feels like one of those conversations where you do tell the whole truth. And it's excruciating because you're both in the same place you were when you had to break up. And you both love each other as much as you did when you first got together. It's so fucking hard. It's so hard and sad. But
oh, God.
I have hope for them.
What an intense. I think last week's episode was the only one that like on the intensity scale was like a little less intense. But this whole season so far has been so intense.
It's such a good show.
This show really, really gets me in touch with my younger parts, my younger super scared parts that I guess, still want me to kind of visit them and like pay them some attention and ask them what they need to share with me. Ooh, I want to cry a little bit.
Hmm.
Being middle aged is such a trip because I still sometimes feel so close to like the insecurities of like the 20-year-old me or teenage me, and I'm like, why is this happening? Like, what is happening? The more work I do, I feel like the more work needs to get done. Like, it's just like, hi, okay, you cleared that stuff out. Now you come deal with this part. And I'm like, okay, come sit down. What do you want to say?
It's that I haven't done this kind of therapy, but I have lots of close friends who are doing internal family systems
Oh, yeah.
therapy and are
Mm.
having great um success. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're having a great experience of integrating all of these parts of themselves that are they never die. Toddler you is as much as alive me. Toddler me is as much alive as teenage me is as much alive as 20-year-old me. That's why these shows bring all this stuff up because all of those parts are like they're all sitting on the bench waiting for their turn at bat. I'm interested in that internal family systems therapy just for that reason to be like, how do you get everyone up and on the field and playing together nicely?
You know what's hilarious is that I ordered an internal family systems graphic book because it was a very accessible way of learning about internal family
Oh,
systems. And my
cool.
medicine therapist is very trained in internal family systems. It's a very accessible way to like look at yourself and why you did the things you did. Who was in the driver's seat at that point.
What I'm noticing in my friends who are doing it is like it's not just philosophical or theoretical, like they're experiencing real freedom,
Yeah,
like a real change in how they move through the world, which I think is like cool and
totally.
exciting.
I ordered this book, breaking down IFS in like a graphic novel kind of a way. And I was like checking the tracking number every fucking day. Like, when's it going to get here? When's it going to get here? Well, it's been here for 2 months and I've opened it up like twice because I'm like, I can't deal. I can't deal. I can't deal. So it's just very interesting hearing you bring it up too out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. Friend, what else did you watch this week? I don't even know if you had
Oh,
time to
so
watch TV.
much.
Oh,
Oh,
you
I
did?
did. I
Okay.
was standing in line at TSA
Oh, of
for five
course you were.
hours.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes.
absolutely had nothing to do but watch TV. So I got caught up on Southern Charm again. This season is amazing. The reunion starts this week. And I now that I'm all caught up, I'm like, I can't wait. Southern Hospitality has gotten underway, season 2. Fantastic show. Did you watch the first season? No, all
Uh,
the Southern shows are not.
no, I did. Southern Hospitality was in New Orleans, right?
No, that was Southern Charm New Orleans.
Oh, okay. Well, then no, not yet. But I've heard great things, so I am intrigued. I've
It's
heard
great.
amazing things. Yeah.
I only watched the first episode. I'm not sure if there have been more, but holy crap, they hit the ground running. I watched Vanderpump Rules. I left you a voicemail about my objections to your Vanderpump Rules dismissal because it's great and I look
I'm
forward
just
to you
not
watching
into it
it.
yet.
I get it. I totally get it. And I watched Below Deck Down Under. I watched Saturday Night Live. Like I had so many hours. And then I started watching this HBO comedy special by this comedian named Chris Fleming, Live at the Palace. It's great. He's so physical and so funny. And again, maybe this was just after like so many hours of standing in line at TSA and then more hours on an airplane. But it was a delightful capper to the longest travel day of my life watching this Chris Fleming special. So I recommend that as well.
All right.
And what else did you watch this week?
Watching The Gilded Age, Potomac ended, and I had a void. And so we were like, what are we going to do? Let's pick up Gilded Age again. And it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Saturday Night Live, Love is Blind. Finally catching up on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 3 because I know 4 is about to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very intolerant this season. It's interesting, but I'm also holding them all at arm's lengths because they're just of outside influences and just being real like, I don't fucking care. Fuck you.
What, are you talking about the plastic surgery stuff or?
Just, I don't need to see Macy being on a high horse about shit right now. I am not as charmed as I once was, but I'm entertained.
I feel it cannot have been that long, but it feels like so long ago. I'm literally
Yeah.
like, they all fall out of my brain the minute they stop airing, which is like not a great sign for what I'm retaining in my head, but I'll be right back up to speed once it starts up again.
It has nothing to do with your brain. Trust me. It's the fucking material that we're working with. And friend, what was your antidepressant this week?
I had an amazing visit. My niece came to visit for a part of her spring break, which was the best. And related to this podcast, we did a West Hollywood tour of all the restaurants, the Lisa Vanderpump restaurants. And we had the most underwhelming goat cheese balls I've ever had in my life at Sir, and pumptinis and the whole thing. And the cast was there. This current cast was there,
Aw.
a bunch of them. And I embarrassed my poor niece by making her take a picture with some of them. And they were so nice. They engaged her in conversation. Some of them are from the South as well. And we chatted, and they were lovely people. And they're ridiculous on camera and all that. They make a great show. The authenticity of that show with this new cast is great because they all still work there because they have to. And I kind of love seeing all of them. We got there at the time when everyone starts rolling in for their shifts, you know, so they're kind of like everyone's taking a deep breath and they all hugged each other hello. Like they're, you know, anyways. And then I went to New Orleans to be with my college classmates, and it was remarkable. The city's amazing and my friends are great, and it was lovely. So what was your antidepressant?
We just did a fun family day on the weekend. My kid's really into BART right now, the Bay Area Rapid Transit System, the train, the subway that we have basically up here. And so we rode one of the lines from the very beginning to the very end and then back to where we started. And that was, we were all exhausted by the end of the day, but it was really adorable and fun to like have that family time.
Leo is so like city minded. Like he cared about garbage trucks and now the BART. Like he really cares about what goes on, you know. What do people do all day?
He's really, really into it.
Love it.
And I learned one of my dear friends the other day, she's like, I bought a ticket to come see you next weekend. So not this weekend, but next weekend. But knowing that she's coming is like, oh, fuck yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, that is my antidepressant. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you were back and that we could chat about this time. I mean, you have such great takes that I don't see. And I want to make that mean
Likewise.
something when it's just that we're just different people layering our own shit onto the other strangers that we talk about on
Yes.
Bravo.
And I will promptly forget about all of it the second we hang up this call. Like that is
Yes.
also the beauty of these shows is I get so invested in Ben and he makes me so mad. And then the second I stop talking about him, I'll just like go back to life, real life, which is great. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and everybody take really good care of yourselves. And we will talk next week. Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom is a doctor.